Welcome to my channel. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel and welcome to day 14 of Vlogmas 2025. Take this time out to explain to you some of the less angelic things that have been going on in my living community lately. Anyway, I'm not letting any of that get me down. I am on the hunt for some new bedding. I'm still looking for that, and the rug. And so I thought I would just take you along with me, and then I'll meet up with you later on at home. I'm giving you another look at my new tree in case you haven't already seen it. And yeah, I'm loving that tree so much. Hi guys, I'm home now, and so that was fun, wasn't it? I actually haven't rolled out the carpet yet, but it's a nice rug. But I just wanted to show you something before we speak a little bit about the angel stories that have been circulating around the internet for a while now, and I think that they are very good to hear and very good to know about, because it sort of defies anything evil or anything malicious. And you know, if you're having a Grinchy Christmas season, I think these angel stories are just for you. Hi guys, so I did manage to find the mattress pads that I needed today, and I also picked up a new set of sheets for, these go very well with the duvet cover that I have, or actually the comforter that I have, which is still at the dry cleaners. And it's just a nice soft color with some very, very peaceful and quiet designs. And that's the sheet set that I picked up a while back. So they all go together. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit first about some of the things that I've been dealing with. And I've already introduced you to the window situation. And I want to expand on that because I've been talking to people. And guys, nobody here has locks on their windows. And I didn't have any locks on my windows before a year or so ago. And so it's so demonic, really. The whole situation is utterly malicious and demonic. So let me show you exactly what I mean about the entire situation. And let's go have a look in my room. So here we are in my room, and finally I got the carpet nice and clean. The water was still coming out murky, but I think that's normal. The sand and the inky debris was all gone. And so, yeah, that is going in the garbage. Look at the water damage. I had a leak from the above apartment. And so I've been busy wiping down everything that I can. And yeah, it was a mess when it first happened, but slowly things are getting back to normal. And so this is the situation that I wanted to draw your attention to. And you see, right here, well, the screen, there's a big gap. And so I had to tape it because the screen fell. It actually fell. And so I luckily caught it in time. And I taped it, and I put some paper here because there's condensation. And I never had that before. Of course, in the winter, it freezes up a little all the time. But no, they damaged my window screen. And all of these little tabs, you see that tab right there? They were all broken and on the floor. And I don't know how that, yeah, I know how it happened. So isn't that awful? And so if you can imagine, I have two other windows in the dining room in the same condition. My property was vandalized and damaged. And the person who did it, he actually assaulted me after my most recent upload, or maybe, no, not the pantry upload, but the upload before that about the spice muffins, the pumpkin spice muffins. After I uploaded that, I was at the elevator, and I was in the elevator, and I was getting off, and he was getting on, or something like that, or I was getting on, and he was getting off, and he shoved me. He shoved me. There was lots of room. There was no reason for him to shove me. There was actually nobody else there, which is why he did it. And he assaulted me. He shoved me. That is the same person who damaged my window. So guys, it's a little easier to see this during the day with the sunlight. And do you see how the lever, the latch is broken off? And there's a big gap. The screen is very loose and doesn't fit anymore. So the superintendent not only switched out the screens on me, but destroyed the whole setup for the cleanliness. And so what I'm trying to do is patch it up, and it is making the condensation better. And it's really difficult to know exactly how bad this is going to get, but I have to pad all of this with a paper towel and tape it down, make sure it's intact, because everything comes in. So as far as I'm concerned, these windows have no locks. As far as I'm concerned, this is vandalism and property damage, and I never bargained for dirty windows. Look, I just cleaned this a week ago. Look already what those large gaps in the screen are doing to my windows. I'm breathing in all this dirt, and it's unbelievable, guys. I don't know what to do. This is my kitchen sink. Do you see that? he took all the hardware away from my kitchen cupboard. For what reason? I don't know. But if you're guessing emotional instability, I think you might be onto something. And so, guys, I have repeatedly asked for the work order associated with the window bolts, which nobody else has. And I want to interrupt myself right here. And why is this so upsetting to me? Not only because it was done illegally, in the most asinine way possible, but because it mimics an attempt made on my life at my old home abroad with the same sort of issue, ventilation and windows and fumigation and all sorts of things that should not have been happening. So I almost lost my life back then. It's not a story I'm sure I'm going to tell you, but I just may. We'll have to hang on and see. Okay, now for some angel stories. Look, guys, the same day, November the 12th, that my apartment was broken into, I came home and found my plant dying. The others are okay. The other two seem to be managing, and my eggplant and parsley seem to be doing great. Knock on wood, I'm sure now something else is going to happen, but yeah, isn't that just too bad? Okay, on to the angel stories. One of these stories is truly miraculous, and I just love the way it goes. And it's about this little American girl who lay gravely ill in a hospital bed, and she had been having some issues off and on most of her life, and I would say she was probably into puberty at that time. And so as her mother sat in the hospital room trying to let go of her child, trying to say goodbye in a very in as humane a way as she possibly could. Suddenly, the room became enveloped in a white glowing light, and the mom immediately called for a nurse. And what happened, guys, was that when the clip showed that the nurse's station also lit up, and this apparition was coming through the doorway into the hall of the nurse's station, and miraculously the young girl took a few breaths and then just sort of regained her natural strength and health. And to this day, she's, wonderfully alive. And nobody understands exactly how, because it wasn't medically diagnosed that she would miraculously survive. It was unbelievable, guys, unbelievable. And yeah, I like that story. Now this next story is very touching to me because it touches my life. It happened to people that I care dearly about. They lived across the street from me for several years when I was a little girl. Actually, we moved away first, and they are still there. And so it really touched me. And I remember being about 9, no, maybe 10, 11, when this all went down. And it was, the family across the street had 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. The youngest was a boy. And the youngest boy was an unbelievable ball of energy. And he used to terrorize his sisters and me sometimes. He was a good kid. I really remember him as being extra special and so good. He was a sweetheart. And now he's a big grown man. But let me tell you the story. He was eventually, he kept coming down with these respiratory infections. And he was eventually diagnosed by the hospital, by the Children's Hospital in my city, as having cystic fibrosis. But it was a very bad case. It wasn't the kind of case that comes and goes and gets worse and gets better. It was severe. And this poor little thing was only about 6 or 7. And I remember him every day after school. I used to go and play with the girls across the street. And there would his mother be massaging his chest with the vaporizer and the humidifier on for a good hour or so. And I remember he used to only sit still if he could watch Batman at the same time. And the poor mother, they understood at the time that it was, he was not going to have a very long life. And we were devastated. We were all taken aback. And so I remember that summer, I believe my parents and I traveled to Italy. And so did the family across the street. My father, I remember my father booking them. And we didn't travel together. We traveled at different times and went to different destinations. But this family went to Rome to see Padre Pio. At the time, it was Padre Pio. And so, what a good ending. This doesn't involve an angelic apparition. It involves a guardian angel, so to speak. This wonderful father said a prayer. And you know what he said to the mom? He said, now, when you take your son home, he's cured. He's cured. Take him off all medicine. And she was, what? 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 And so when we all convened back in my city in September, this lady ran across the street to tell my mother, Senora, my son is healed. And at the time, we didn't exactly know what was going on. And so my parents had just translated for this wonderful Italian family from Italian to English to Italian so that they would understand the nature of their son's illness properly. And my parents, I considered them at the time heroes for doing that because it was a very sentimental and very tear-jerking situation. And so back to the hospital, they all went. My mom, my dad, and my neighbors and their cute son. And they did a battery of tests. Guys, you're not going to believe this. The cystic fibrosis was gone. And yeah, my parents actually translated that to them as well. And everybody was so overjoyed. I never remembered being so firmly rooted in the belief that miracles can actually happen. Because I actually went through it with them. Padre Pio, wherever you are, thank you so much. Another story involves a geographic location that takes us right across the world to the Middle East in a beautiful and magnificent old shrine temple where many people sat kneeling on the ground praying to Allah. And when I watched the clip, it was very hard for me to believe. And I know that many people will automatically say, that's a hoax, or that's trick photography. But the thing is that this apparition was like a glowy white, very softly formed body. It was hard to decipher if it was a male or a female. It looked female to me. It didn't have any facial features. It was blank, but it was in a silhouette. And the thing that is so unnerving about it is that nobody at the shrine noticed her. She was kneeling like this with her head bowed. Everybody was in the same position. And she took that moment to assume the position of everybody else and insert themselves right into that prayer. And it was so beautiful to watch, because you never know just who is going to be sitting right behind you. And goodness knows, if it's an angel, well, lucky you. Yeah, that last one is very, it just inspires me to erase all my ideas and negative thoughts about what's been going on here, and just, look for the good, believe in the good, no matter how bad things get, how grinchy things can be this Christmas season. I always want to think about the things that gave me luck and hope and inspiration. All the near close calls that I've had with safety and with illness, I want to, put that in the front and foremost of all my other thoughts, and be happy and grateful that I still have my health and I'm still here, and I'm relatively happy. I don't care really how many people it takes to bring me down in my mood, and how many screwdrivers people have to carry around with them in order to upset and spoil my day. I don't care. Let them do it. I know what's going on, and because people feel like if they're gaslighting you, they've got one over on you, they're winning. They're not winning. They're just mentally unstable. And so if that's winning, I just hope that people who catch themselves doing silly things like this catch themselves in time to maybe get help, or maybe take a step back and think, what am I doing? This is stupid. This is crazy. Don't ever get pulled in that direction. It's not worth it, because sooner or later, it's going to backfire. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed the angel stories, and thank you so much for listening and watching to all of my griping, and I will see you again back here tomorrow for the next episode of Vlogmas.